Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today and years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The source of this information comes from the smart device application On This Day, Today in History, that's backwards, and the website onthisday.com. For links to the sources, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the box below. Today, I am not joined with the lovely Alice, but I am instead joined with...
Fire Marshal Bill.
Yes, the Fire Marshal Bill. The immortal Fire Marshal Bill. He's not just a splash in the pan. Anyway, on with the show. Today is Tuesday, aka Tears Day, aka Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. In 1649, English Civil War. Well, during the English Civil War, the Rump Parliament voted to put Charles I on trial. Was that from that movie? I remember there's some movie, I haven't seen it, but I've seen a clip where there's this guy, he's the king, but then the Parliament, ended up beheading him or something at the end.
I don't know, I haven't seen it.
I gotta see it, because Charles I sounds a little familiar.
It does.
Yeah.
I'll have to find it too.
And, whereas it doesn't surprise me, I was not really fully aware that there was an English Civil War.
I know.
I mean, I knew that, all the different tribes until they were united and all that stuff were fighting, but, Civil War is, post-united,
Yeah.
But speaking of England, in 1717, Great Britain, France, and the Netherlands signed the Triple Alliance in an attempt to maintain the Treaty of Utrecht, Britain having signed a preliminary alliance with France on November 28th of that same year. So, a lot of, there's a lot of documents and stuff throughout history. But once again, talking about Great Britain in 1762, Great Britain declared war on Spain, thus bringing Spain forcefully into the 7 Years' War. And that intrigues me because, it's bad enough to go to war, but it sucks even worse to get dragged into, a war with, participants that you had nothing to do with. Then again,
yeah.
What is the First and Second World War? But those are big conflicts.
Hey, I'll get the next one.
Yeah, up to all you.
Okay, in 1853, after being kidnapped and sold into slavery, the American South Solomon Northrop regained his freedom. His memoir, 12 Years a Slave, became a national bestseller. And a good book. A good movie also.
I gotta read that book and see that movie. I really do.
It's good.
I bet.
Heartbreaking, but good.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet it's better than Django. I've seen that. Django Unchained.
Dude, I've seen that shit many times.
That's a good movie.
All Django is pretty much a German folktale retold.
Yeah, especially with Broomhilda.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to 1854. The McDonald's Islands were discovered by Captain William McDonald aboard the Samarang. McDonald's Islands. I wonder if they had burgers there.
Yeah, I've been lied to this whole time. I thought it was Ronald McDonald.
Yeah. But I bet you that they don't have an ice cream machine that works for a damn.
No, they don't.
Yeah. But moving on up to 1863, the new Apostolic Church, Christian and Chiliastic Church, was established in Hamburg, Germany. So, churches come, churches go throughout history. It's never always only the big three and, sprinkle of little things here and there. There's stuff popping up and coming down almost daily. You gotta just keep your eyes open and watch the world. Yeah. Moving on up to 1878, the Russo-Turkish War, which lasted from 1877 until 78, Sofia was liberated from Ottoman rule and designated the capital of liberated Bulgaria. And then And then in 1884, the Fabian Society was founded in London, United Kingdom. The Fabian Society. Let me look that up real quick.
Yeah.
Fabian Society, because the Fabian Society is a British socialist organization whose purpose is to advance the principles of democratic socialism via gradualist and reformist effort in democracies rather than by revolutionary overthrow. So that sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that's going on today, in a lot of places all over the world. But speaking of things coming and going, in 1896, Utah was admitted as the 45th U.S. state, or as a former Australian friend of mine once, or so fondly calls it, Pootah. Pootah. Because he served 6 months in jail out there for being a stupid. Alright, we have a long one here. In 1903, Topsy the elephant was murdered via electrocution by the owners of Luna Park, Coney Island. The Edison Film Company recorded the film electrocuting an elephant of Topsy's death in an absolutely disgusting attempt to sway public opinion to Edison's direct current, aka DC, form of power, over Tesla's alternating current, aka AC, via telling the public he was using AC on the elephant to trick people into believing how dangerous it was, when in reality he actually used his own DC. Thomas Alva Edison, may you burn in hell even after time ends. Anything to say, Mr. Bill?
No, fuck Edison. Fucking thief.
I know, right, dude? That guy was, whew.
He was a thief. He stole most of his ideas.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, moving on up to 1912, the Scout Association was incorporated throughout the British Empire by royal charter. What is the Scout Organization, or the Scout Association? It is the largest scouting organization in the United Kingdom and is the World Organization of the Scouts Movement's recognized member for the United Kingdom. Okay, so they're people.
I'll get this one.
Okay.
In 1918, the Finnish Declaration of Independence was recognized by France, Sweden, Germany, and Russia.
Huh. I'm pretty sure one of our Discord friends is going to enjoy that.
Yeah.
Apparently she already knew that, though, which is good. Like that really told me, it didn't really open my eyes, but, like, it kind of, like, refreshed the idea that, like, you go to all these other countries and stuff, and they're a lot more educated, about their history, about what's happened and everything. Like, it scares the hell out of me when, people who are applying for U.S. citizenship know more about our own history. Like, I ask anybody watching this video, if you're a citizen of the United States of America, if you're born here, if you not immigrated, but if you're born here, if you're second generation, whatever, if you're like me, can you pass the citizenship test? Like, if the citizens can't pass their own test, that doesn't mean the test is too hard. That means the citizens are too stupid, to a certain degree, But, like, I mean, we don't, like, nobody knows the presidents. Like, I remember watching some video about somebody thinking that Colonel Sanders actually was a former president. It's just like,
oh God!
Like, are you kidding me? Like,
some people are stupid, man.
Yeah, they are. But then again, you look at today's world, and you have people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Ronald Reagan, holding offices and everything. So it's not too out of the mind of possibility, at least in the past 40, 50 some odd years.
And you have people like George Bush in office.
That too.
At one point.
Yeah. Well, we had 2 Bushes in office.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on up to 1944, during World War II, Operation Carpetbagger, involving the dropping of arms and supplies to resistance fighters in Europe, began. So, vive la résistance! Vive la France! And in 1948, Berga gained independence from the United Kingdom, becoming a self-reliant republic, named the Union of Burma, with Sao Shui Thaik as its first president and U Nu its first prime minister. That's an interesting name, U Nu.
Oh no.
You know, it's just you. You know, the letter U, and
Yeah,
then
you and new.
and you. You knew.
You
Did
knew?
did I know? Well, now I
You
do.
knew?
Moving on up 3 years, in 1951, during the Korean War, North Korea and Chinese forces captured Seoul. Eee, not good.
Yeah. We was watching that yesterday.
Yeah, we were. We still got to finish that up, by the way. Anyway, moving on up about 5 years, in 1956, the Greek National Radical Union was formed by Konstantinos Karamanlis. Greek National Radical Union. Like, let's look that up real quick.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
See here, it's a political party, obviously, mostly out of the Greek Rally Party, and the Greek Rally Party is a right-wing political party in Greece. So we have parties and sub-parties and such now. Do you want to take this next article?
Yeah. 2 years later, in 1958, Sputnik 1, the first artificial Earth satellite launched by the Soviet Union in 1957, fell to Earth from orbit.
Yeah, burned up in re-entry. That's unfortunate. I think it burnt up in re-entry, one would assume.
Mm-hmm. Then a year later, in 1959, Lunar 1, another Soviet spacecraft, became the first man-made object to reach the vicinity of the moon.
Yeah, like I was saying, about this during yesterday's show, like the USSR, like they did a lot of firsts. They the first satellite into space, the first animal, the first human, the first woman, the first one to reach the moon, the first one to reach Venus, the first one to land on the moon as far as like a drone, or a rover or something. The first one to land on Venus as far as a drone and rover and everything. And yet we come along, we land on the moon, and somehow we win the space race. Okay.
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
They gave it to us.
But anyway, moving on up to 1972, Rose Heilbronn became the first female judge to sit at the Old Bailey, aka the Central Criminal Court, in London, UK. Hey, look at that. 3 years later, in 1975, this date overflowed the 12-bit field that had been used in the Decca System 10 operating systems. There were numerous problems and crashes related to this bug while an alternative format was developed. I have no idea what that means, but if anybody else does, please say what it means in the comments. That would greatly help me. And then we move on up to 1990. In Pakistan's deadliest train accident, an overloaded passenger train collided with an empty freight train, resulting in 307 deaths and 700 injuries.
Wow, that's tragic.
That sucks. Let's see here. We jump ahead about 8 years. In 1998, a massive ice storm hit eastern Canada and the northeastern United States, continuing through January 10th and causing widespread destruction. And then we have an article here that a special guest wants to phone in from the past to say something about it. So let's see if my system picks her up.
Syphilis 1, Syphilis 2, check 1, 2, check 2, Syphilis. Hey, speaking of syphilis, in 1999, listen, 1999, and this, oh, I'm such an asshole. 1999, the former professional wrestler Jesse Ventura, he was signed in and was sworn in as the U.S. governor of Minnesota.
Why does that have anything to do with syphilis?
Why not?
Okay. Well, you heard it here, Mr. Ventura. My friend Stapes here believes that you have syphilis. You're gonna have to fact check that. I personally don't believe that you do. But that's neither here nor there, and she isn't even here to defend herself. So, anyway, let's move up to 2004. Mikhail Saakashvili was elected president of Georgia following the November 2003 Rose Revolution. Do you want to take this next one, Mr. Bill?
Yes, yes, I will. In 2004, Spirit, a NASA Mars rover, landed successfully on Mars at 4:30 UTC.
What is UTC? I know it's a time zone. UTC is Coordinated Universal Time, but that's CUT. Okay. But
I'll do this one too.
All right.
Even though I'm a cringe. 2007, the 110th United States Congress convened, elected Nancy Pelosi as first female Speaker of the House in the U.S. history.
Wow, I did not know Pelosi was the first female speaker. I think I did, but I don't remember if I knew. That ain't good. Man, I'm becoming more like my dad every day. But yeah, 2007, that's, we're still to this day, blazing, new things for people. But anyway, getting to the final article of the day in 2010, the Burj Khalifa, the current tallest building in the world, not to be confused with the tallest structure, which belongs to a radio antenna somewhere, I don't know. But anyway, the Burj Khalifa officially opened in Dubai. And fun fact about the Burj Khalifa, I'm not sure how many of you people know about Ramadan and the Muslim fasting and everything, but the Burj Khalifa is so tall that they actually had to put time zones into the building, so that way people who are fasting, they can start eating and everything. Because if you're at the bottom of the building and watch the sunset, you can actually take the elevator to the top and watch the sunset again. It actually you can watch over the curvature of the earth. This building is so tall. So people at the top have to start eating after the people at the bottom. That's intriguing.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, let's get to the births. We have Isaac Newton in 1653. He was an English mathematician and physicist, and he discovered gravity via an apple falling on his noggin. Mr. Louis Braille, or Mr. Louis Braille, however he wanted to pronounce that, in 1809, a French educator, and he invented Braille. This is the guy who invented those little bumps that the blind people, use to read. And then we have General Tom Thumb in 1838. He was a U.S. circus performer. For those of you who do not know, his name was Tom Thumb because he was a very miniature individual. And they dressed him up like a general because people back then didn't give a flying F about PC culture. Which we probably should return to that time again to a certain degree. But anyway, we have Mass Eastman, 1883. He was a U.S. author and poet. Leroy Grumman, 1895, a U.S. engineer and businessman. He co-founded Grumman Aeronautical Engineering Company, which I believe that's part of one of the contractors the military or the Air Force uses, right? Grumman something?
I think so.
Yeah. And then we have James Bond in 1900. He was a U.S. ornithologist and a zoologist. So he wasn't really much of a spy, unless we were spying on the lions. Do you want to take the deaths, good sir?
I can't pronounce the first one.
Well, neither can I, but I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Oh, if you want to give it a shot, go ahead.
Stanislaw Myrowski, 1900, Polish-born politician, writer, historian, and member of Imperial Council of Austria. Or if I slander your name. Then in 1925, you have Nellie Cashman, U.S. nurse, restaurateur, entrepreneur, and gold prospector.
What year did she die in?
1925.
Ah, okay.
And in 1965, T.S. Eliot, American English poet, playwright, and critic.
Oh,
You can get the other two.
Good luck with this name.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, in 2006, Maktoum bin Rashid Al Maktoum.
Not bad.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Emirate politician, first prime minister of the United Arab Emirates. In 2010, Johan Frey, a Surinamese educator and politician, first president of Suriname.
And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links you may be interested in for your dose of past events daily. I am A.O. Xander.
And I am Fire Marshal Bill.
And you are you. Until you see us tomorrow, toodles!